Hello, I'm Matt Newmeyer with the Ohio Division of Wildlife, and today we're going to talk about filleting your own fish. A lot of people find filleting fish to be intimidating, but I want to show you today just how simple it can be. What we want to start out with is a very thin, flexible knife, a fillet knife, just like this, and you want it to be very sharp. So you want to get this knife sharpened as much as you can, and I want to take you through the steps and just in how to do it.
Is that good?
So the first step is making our initial cut, and where I like to do this, I like to lift this pectoral fin right here. This is the one that sits right behind the gill, and there is a very hard piece of bone right behind the gill. It's called the gill arch. That is where I want to make my initial incision. I'm going to take this knife, I'm going to go in at a slight angle right behind that arch, and I'm going to cut it into the side of the fish until I reach his spine. So now that I've made this initial cut, I'm going to turn this fish so the fillet is towards me. I'm going to take the flexible knife, the fillet knife. I'm going to start right where I made that incision, and I'm going to cut along the spine. There's a little bit of downward pressure as I'm easing the knife along. There's very little pressure. This knife is very sharp. That's why it's important to use a sharp knife. And I'm going to go all the way down the length of this fish's back, past all of the spines. All I'm really doing is just making a small incision to go all the way along the spine. I'm going to go in and I'm going to clean that up. And now I'm going to put my thumb in and just start working that meat away from them bones. Right up here, beneath the dorsal fin, you're going to encounter the ribs. What I like to do with the ribs is I'm lifting the meat, I'm pushing that knife down just ever so slightly, and I'm letting that knife just slide across the ribs. I do not want to cut the ribs, I want to cut the meat along the ribs. I'm going to slide it down and keep working. And now when I'm at this point, I'm past the ribs. I'm going to take this knife, I'm going to slide it in right there at the belly behind the ribs, and I'm going to start working it back towards me, keeping slight downward pressure until we're all the way to the base of the tail. And now here we are. Here is a nice fillet. Now we're going to remove the fillet from the skin of the fish. And remember, as you get towards the end, we have to leave a patch of skin to leave the fish identifiable. So when I get down to this region right here, I'm going to show you how I do that. I want to start in with the sharp knife. And again, this is very little pressure. That's the important part about having a very sharp knife. And I'm going to work my way down the fillet. Now I'm about within an inch of that top right hand corner the way I'm standing. And when I get to here, I'm going to lift this up and I'm going to cut that skin off. And that piece of skin right there can easily be removed later, and it keeps us compliant with the laws for the state of Ohio.